How 90s is that? I was going to do a video and I was going to say, look at this machine, and then I was going to say, made you look, you dirty duck, you wash your face in cow muck. I mean, that's totally rad, like someone with a 90s baseball cap wearing it backwards while listening to Oasis and fighting with their best friend who's a Blur fan, and basically there's all sorts of bloodshed and really annoying stuff, and then it all gets made up over a game of Tazos. Oh, sorry, yeah, I'm doing a video. Hi, welcome to this Video Some Frontier video. My name is Jay Wakefield. Now today we're going to be looking at something from the Blue Planet 64 era. Now, what I'm about to show you, I've had, now I can't remember whether I've had it since the end of 2011 or the beginning of 2012. But in any case, we're going to be looking at it now. I got this item from FreeCycle. And what it is, it came in its original bag with all the documentation, CD-ROMs, cabling, and the unit itself. And I got it from a guy who I know on FreeCycle, who works for a big company in Aberdeen, and they're quite often throwing out old stuff. So quite often I used to get phone calls saying, I'll be round in a couple of minutes for some stuff. And I really appreciated this guy because he did do quite a lot for me, and he donated me a parallel port. No, he didn't. He donated me a USB zip drive, three USB zip drives actually, I think. Lots of memory, 500,000 Dell power supplies, dock for the C610, which I don't believe I have anymore. I've lost it in the move. And lots of advice on Dell latitudes of the day. So, naturally, what I'm away to show you is a Toshiba. This Toshiba is from the late 90s. So, before I get the machine out, I want to show you some of what came in this Toshiba branded bag. This is totally awesome. It is no secret, it is totally awesome. Now, here, what we have, Toshiba Tools and Utilities, the Landesk Manager, it's probably a desk full of LAN. Couple of driver floppies. Now, here's a clue as to how special this machine is. Because I have a Windows 98 user manual, but if I look on the other side, it's a Windows 95 user manual. That was odd. What looks like a small telephone book, which is actually the user's manual. And the recovery CD-ROM. Sorry, CD-ROMs. On one side, well, I'll show you actually, if I can get this thing open. There's two of them. And I'm going to be taking you through the recovery process, because I know some of you like these videos that I do, where I have a go at reformatting and restoring a drive and taking you through what it is, and yes, this is this, and that is that. And then on this side, we have the laptop itself, we have an RJ11 telephone cable. Useful, these are actually quite useful communications. And yes, we do use RJ11 cables with our DSL modems. We have something that plugs in, which provides network connectivity. Something that looks like it came from a PC card. It's got a proprietary port on one side. Looks like it plugs into the PC card slot. And it's got an RJ11. It's got a telephone jack on the other side. Now, when I say a telephone jack, obviously the UK uses a slightly different one, so you'd have to get a converter to plug it into a UK socket, but these are very cheap and easy to come by, even today. And no, you would not necessarily plug that into a microfilter because it's not a DSL modem that this goes to. An advanced PC card, because of course I really don't like those basic ones. That looks like the network thing goes to that, so it's quite easy to plop this thing on the network. I'm not going to get the laptop out just yet because that's what you're expecting me to do. Hopefully, if I know what's good for me, I'll still have something on this side. And indeed I do. Oh, right, okay. Now I can assure you that this did not come with the machine. But this is a hard drive. An IBM Death Star. And I'm just trying to think, I'm just trying to see if it's got a capacity, because I have another laptop that's actually in need. Yes, it's 1,440 megabytes. I've got a perfect, candidate machine for that to go into. And I have another IBM. This is a Travel Star. Again, we call them IBM Death Stars. And if you'll give me a wee minty, I will tell you how big it is. Yep, this is a 15.1 gigabyte Travel Star. And yes, I do know what's good for me, because guess what I have? I have not only the Toshiba power supply, but I also have another one that's bigger, and the floppy drive. Yay, floppy drive! So I'll take the floppy drive and I'll get it out, and I'll take a power supply and I'll get that out as well. And then as soon as I've done that, what I will be able to do is get everything sorted. I will be able to, well, I think what I will do is I'll re-angle the camera, I'll get the laptop out, and we will go from there. So, thanks to the magic of video editing, I will be right back. Okay, so we have the laptop out and the power supply is ready to go. Now, before we power on this laptop, I'm going to have a help of tea. Perfect. Now, what we're also going to do is we are going to have a look at, going to have a wee look around this machine. Now this is a Toshiba Tecra 8000. The Tecras, for those of you who don't know, were Toshiba's top business models at the time. I believe the chain of command for Toshiba went Satellite, Satellite Pro, and Tecra. Now obviously they had the librettos, and then later on they had the portages, and it all gets a wee bit confusing. But and then of course, you know, for a while we've had Equiums, and I was working on an Equium yesterday. It was a Celeron 1.4 with Windows XP, 256 megs of RAM, and I believe a 40 gig hard drive. Now, how on earth, come April, am I supposed to upgrade that to Windows Vista? Even if we max out the RAM, it's still got a 1.4 processor. And I think the maximum it would probably take, if I can, get it to take one, would be a Pentium M. Great. But, well, we're just going to have to, just going to have to deal with the consequences as they, just going to have to deal with that as, it happens. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Anyway, and most of us tech heads would go to Linux. What are non-tech heads going to do? Yes, Mum might argue, yeah, it's time to get a new laptop anyway. But people can't necessarily afford to be replacing computers every 2 minutes. Anyway, on this one, we have a fan, which is good for cooling it down. And if we lower this flap, you see a USB port. And then you see, if we peel back this cover, we've got the power switch. I like that how the power switch was always under a cover. It reminds me of the fire button in British fighter jets. British fire jets? Yeah, of course, everyone knows all about the British fire jets of the Second World War. Word has it, it was spectacular to watch those in action. The fire jets, everyone. And then on this side, we have the release mechanism for the battery. So I can just pull this out. Sorry, this is off camera. But there you have it. It's a battery. And for some reason, whenever the battery's charging, the fan will always come on. I really don't understand why that is. It can get quite annoying sometimes, but you can stop the fan noise by disconnecting the battery, but it still somehow holds some charge. And it's lithium ion, so yeah, no wonder it holds charge still. It's made out of witchcraft. You also have on this side physical hardware volume button, CD-ROM drive. On this side you have the locking mechanism to unlock the CD-ROM drive. Of course, that is a multi-bay, and you can put the floppy drive in there. 2 PCMCIA card slots. Very useful things to have. And I'm just trying to think. Oh, yep. And underneath this flap, we have the floppy disk drive part for when it's inside its caddy. On the rear of the machine, have composite video out, RS-232 serial, VGA, docking station connector. Then we have headphone, microphone and line in, an infrared port. Above that, the PS2 mouse and keyboard port, IEEE 1284 parallel printer port, and, of course, the power. So, I'll set this back on the desk because it's really quite heavy. I will plug it in. And then lift up the screen, and you can see her there in all of her glory, the Toshiba Tecra 800. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to lift this camera up a wee bit. There we go. And what I'm going to do straight away is take you through the recovery. Now what I've decided to do is, because this runs both Windows 95 and 98, I'll recover each one in turn and we'll have a look at both. Because I think that would be a brilliant idea. Now before we do anything, we have to insert disk 1. So, to do that, I need to reveal and access the power button. Toshiba, in touch with yesterday. Oh yes, I did have a previous Windows 98 install, but we're just gonna What have I done? Okay, let's try this. Now I can't remember. I can't remember whether I used one of the floppy disks to boot it. I really don't like the font used on this text here. Let's have a look. Sorry, I'm just going to have to... How do I do this? Whoa! No! I think I'm going to have to use that one, which is going to take the longest because it's going to try and boot from LAN every time. It's one thing I don't like about the Toshiba BIOS settings. You've only got a few sequences to choose from, and none of them are the one that I want. Error! This pre-release of Windows has expired. Good game, Toshiba. Good game. It is a proper version of Windows 98 that you get on here, though. It's just that you got to deal with that. Okay, so now we have a wee screen. So, I can either go to complete recovery, which will restore file software pre-installation complete. Complete hard disk will be formatted, blah blah blah. With standard recovery, we'll just reinstall the software. What we're going to do, we're going to go for complete recovery. Caution, the contents of the hard disk will be erased. Fine. And what you're going to see now is press any key to continue. What we're going to see now is the hard disk being partitioned up into equal 2 GB partitions. I believe this is a 6 gig hard disk. It's been ever such a long time since I used my one of these machines. I believe it's a 2 gig hard disk, and it's obviously being repartitioned. It'll be partitioned into 2 gig partitions. And every time it makes a partition, it's got to restart. And I've got to, press a key because apparently the Windows 98 version has expired. And for those of you wondering, you might be thinking, but Jay, Windows 98 is very old now. It's about 16 years old. Wouldn't Windows 98 have expired itself, even the full version? Well, no, it doesn't. Operating systems, full paid-for versions of operating systems don't simply expire. One does not simply expire an operating system. So yes, we've got to go through this palaver. Press any key to continue. Where's the any key? Toshiba didn't build their machines with any keys on them. Oh, here we go. So, what I'm going to do here is I am going to kill the video until the hard disks have been formatted, because this is going to take ages. And while I'm doing that, I'm probably going to power up, I'm probably going to switch on the telly box and put some Simpsons on while I wait. And when that's done, I will restart the video and I will take you through the restoration process. Alright, now the hard disks have been formatted. I want to install Windows 98. Well, let's install Windows 95. And we'll start the installation. Please insert recovery CD-ROM 2. So I need to insert disk 2. Yes, it seems that I've got the disk. Here we go. So that's the way now to install. Not sure how long it'll take to install Windows 95. Seems to be going quite quickly so far. Must admit, I do like this graphical setup. It's totally red, man. Just totally red. Here's a little laptop put on my video. The iPhone battery went dead, so I had to restart. So this is nearly done. I think what will happen is, like most Windows 95 installs, and even 98 installs, what you'll probably end up getting is setup screen. Well, you'll be asked, Windows will start, and then you'll be asked for your name, product key. And Windows 95 is pretty good because it sets up the printer, Microsoft Exchange and the printer. And when I had a printer that used a floppy disk based driver, I quite like to set it up with Windows 95 during setup so that it would be ready. I think Microsoft with Windows 95, what they wanted to achieve was that you would set everything up during setup so that it would all be ready to use when you got into Windows. But then again, having said that, they did that with Windows 3.1 as well. In fact, Windows 95 was the last version of Windows to include that sort of a thing. So it wasn't actually an innovation for Windows 95, it was actually more of a throwback. There we go. I've never seen Windows 95 running on this machine, so it is quite a surprise, and it does, well, I don't know, it just feels a bit odd, because this to me is a Windows 98 First Edition machine. There we go. Unlike Windows 98, it actually has all the colours set up, so I don't know, let's see now if I can just rejig it a wee bit. There we go. And what I can do is set everything up. The British keyboard layout. This is just like the compact Presario 2240. Start wizard. Windows 95 saved all the information. Click finish to continue installing Windows 95. So if I click finish, all the text is now going to change from English to Finnish. And just like the compact Presario 2240, this thing demands a restart. I kind of like this. It's quite a novel idea, actually. You know, that you're given a choice with the actual machine on which version of Windows you choose to install. I must admit, I do quite like that. Right, now this is very interesting. While the system doesn't come with IE4 pre-installed, it does actually come with all the files to install it. Now, just like Windows 98, there really isn't much on this machine. In fact, if you're from Glasgow way, you would probably be likely to say this machine comes with hee-haw. And no, that does not mean it comes with a donkey, because it doesn't. Now, I do like the fact that they gave you the choice to install both 95 or 98. Oh, look. Selection-based software. I like that. Because I like it how it comes with 95 or 98. Because Windows 98 First Edition... How do I put it? It was terrible. Now, you've got the Euro currency support file here. I wonder if it's been pre-installed. Let's have a look. Let's go into WordPad. And we'll see if it's been installed. So I'll press the angry Alt key. Nope, it hasn't. So I guess I would have to install that manually. I don't know why Toshiba couldn't have just installed that. I mean, I can understand why they didn't want to install Internet Explorer 4, because, you know, leave it up to you whether you want your active desktop or not. But the Euro support, I think, could have been installed. And I like how it comes with Internet Explorer 4.01 setup. And look at that, it even comes with the newer Microsoft Network, which would install Internet Explorer 4 anyway. So I wonder what the difference between IE 4.01 setup is and Internet Explorer update. I think it actually updates it once it's installed. So let's install it, shall we? Let's install it and ruin a perfectly good Windows 95 in the opinion of a lot of people. Personally, though, I like the active desktop update. Preparing setup. I like how they call it Internet Explorer 4.0 Active Setup. As opposed to what exactly? IE4 Passive Setup? Are you being serious? And while I'm waiting on this, I wonder if the Toshiba background is here. I know it's on the disk should I have wanted it. But it comes preloaded with Windows 98. Oh, there it is. Boop. Come on. There we go. Now it looks like a Toshiba, as opposed to looking like a hernia. No, I'm only getting on. It is quite a good looking machine, this, I will say. I mean, it's still got some of the grey, but it's more of a. I would say it was probably gunmetal if it was metallic, but it isn't. So dark grey. I don't know. You probably could still call it gunmetal, I reckon. As greys go, it has to be one of my more preferred shades of grey, I have to be honest. Probably because our former Volvo, my parents' former Volvo was gunmetal grey, and it's a cool name. Now here's something that Elmo 3 will not like at all. Look where Toshiba put the speakers on this thing. On the palm rest! So once I tell ML3 this, he's going to book a plane ticket to Toshiba HQ and insist that when they're making 90s laptops that they don't put the speakers in the palm rest. There is. Here we go. Look at this. You've got the user's manual as well. Internet Explorer 4 comes with so many different bits of software that you'll actually be expanding the capabilities of the machine. But this machine does have an online user manual, which is quite nice. Okay, it's installed. I actually had to go and copy everything over. Okay, so what's going to happen now is I is going to try and close all the programs. Oh, it looks like sometimes if your computer's set up right, IE4 does not need to restart your computer. In fact, it doesn't necessarily restart your computer if it's done this. I mean, sometimes it will. If you've just installed Windows 95, you go to install IE4. You know, if you've installed a stock Windows 95, I should say, you go to install Internet Explorer 4, then yes, it will restart your computer. But in this case, that's not going to happen. And there you go. Pretty sure those should be light blue as opposed to turquoise. But that's Internet Explorer 4 installed. And it's only now that I realise it's in 256 colours. I believe when it goes to install Windows 98, it installs it in full colour. And is it me, or does IE4 make your system less stable? Because this system was a lot more stable when I had it when I didn't have it installed. What's this? So there we have it, Windows 95. Shut up. No! This thing does run quite well on 98 though, I will give it that. And of course we're going to show Windows 98. I've just never ran this on Windows 95 before. It's quite an interesting thing to do. There we go. Now it's in full colour. So there you have it. Internet Explorer 4, Windows 95. Because, yay, active desktop update! And look, here's a My Documents folder, access to it. Very nice. Swish! Internet Explorer 4 itself. Very nice. Navigation cancelled. So there you have it, Windows 95. So, I mean, it's quite good for companies to have the option of installing both Windows 95 or 98. You get a license to use one or the other. It does actually stipulate that you can't dual boot legally. Obviously you could illegally, but if you want to dual boot, then you're going to have to buy a separate license if you wanted to stay within the law. But it's really quite nice that you have this option to dual boot. No, sorry, to install one or the other. It means that network admins have more control over the computers, what gets installed, and that's probably the reason why Internet Explorer 4 was included, but not pre-installed. So, also, like I said before, Windows 98 First Edition was, well, to be honest, a bit of a joke. And a lot of people preferred Windows 95 because it was a lot lighter on resources than 98. Talking of Windows 98, let's have a look, see how it runs. So once again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back into the restore disk. Oh yeah, of course. It's going to do this again. I wonder if there's a way to actually invoke the restore from here. Some people would say that Windows 98 would be a better choice for this, as it's a Pentium 2. It's 300 megahertz, and it has 128 megs of RAM. So probably one of the more powerful computers that came preloaded with 95. So I think what happens is it resets the BIOS to floppy boot. Well, to not boot from the CD first of all. But this machine does have something else up its sleeve, which I'm going to show you. And this often gets included on a lot of Toshiba systems. How about let's go into the hardware settings. There we go. And I can go, well, I can set the TV standard. Set the display. Basically, I've got access to all the BIOS settings in here. CPU cache. You know, enabled. Is it write back or write through? Level 2 cache options. Is it enabled or disabled? I think I'm going to leave all that enabled. Otherwise, I lose the Pentium 2-ness of it. Boot priority. Here we go. So FTT, HDD, CD-ROM, LAN, HDD, FDD, CD-ROM, LAN, FDD, CD-ROM, LAN, HDD, HDD, CD-ROM, LAN, LAN, FDD, CD-ROM, LAN, FDD, HDD, CD-ROM, LAN, HDD, FDD. So, at the time I'm just going to click floppy disk, CD-ROM, LAN, HDD. I'm going to set that up. So hopefully now, when I go to restart the computer, what I can do is boot straight from the recovery CD. And we're back here again. Now, I think what I'm going to do this time is not bother showing you the whole recovery. Because you've seen it once before, and like I said, it'll take a while. This will make the video longer and more boring. Continue, yes, we're going to format the hard disk. And everything is all gravy. Okay, so here we go. So, again, we have the choice. Please select which operating system you want to install. However, you are licensed to only one of these, or for only one of these. Well, we want to install Windows 98 this time, so let's click that. You've selected Microsoft Windows 98. Start installation. Selection is incorrect. Back to the menu. We'll start the installation. Like I said, it's the same thing. So once this is completed, I will restart the video. Okay, so the Windows 98 install has nearly finished. Just like Windows 95, what we can expect is that Windows 98 will start up, ask for some registration info, and maybe restart and then take us to the desktop. Again, it has been a while since I used this machine, so I forgot exactly how things roll. So it's very nearly done. While we wait... Oh, it has done. And again, it's changed the boot sequence back again. See, on Windows 98, it logs in and uses VGA mode at first. Right, okay, so let's have a look. English United States. Nope, I'm wanting English British. British keyboard layout. He's starting to see a pattern. And setup will restart, and this time it won't crash while it's restarting. However, one thing you probably will now notice is that when it boots up, it will be in full colour. Or not. I think it restarts the second time actually. And now I've got to put the CD key in, so once again I will be back. Okay, so that's the key entered. So select finish. Type my name in. Now it's the way to find hardware. It does seem quite odd how when Windows 95 had everything installed, this didn't. But it does... Ooh, what's this? It's got some configuration to... Oh. Still do. There we go. So I'm going to change, whoops, the date, February 2014, 13th. I think it's 10:38. There we go. It could be 37. So what I'll do. Oh, and this is quite interesting. They've actually had the printer set up in Windows 98, whereas they didn't on the Windows 95. But that's probably because it crashed and I had to restart. But that doesn't happen on vanilla Windows 98. I do have videos on how to install Windows 98 from an original Microsoft copy rather than using an OEM quick restore disk. There we go. Plug and play monitor. Let's not check from the floppy drive at the moment as it's not connected. Suffice it to say, I believe that is it installed. And the desktop icons actually go down the way here as opposed to... Oh, what on earth? Oh yeah. Why does he do that? It's like... Oh my goodness. So as you can see, Internet Explorer 4 is installed, and unlike Windows 95, there doesn't appear to be a Toshiba manual installed. Certainly not a user's manual, and let's have a look in the control panel and see what's installed there. OPL sound config. Let's have a look here. First I need to make a large mouse pointer because I'm having trouble seeing this one. There we go. Oh, here we go. But I do have the Toshiba hardware set up, just like in Windows 95. And the selectable bay, that's what it's called on this machine, the selectable bay. Right, so that's absolutely fantastic. Okay, so before we end this video, I think what I will do is a canyon test to see how the sound sounds, because sounding sound. Because Windows 98 would support, well, even Windows 95B would support it, I would be inclined to make the hard disk into one big partition, as opposed to lots of minuscule ones. Oh, that's quite interesting. Old version of Media Player. There's me thinking 98 came with Media Player 6. $1997 Microsoft Corp. And that's quite interesting. Okay, let's try Canyon. Okay, so that's the canyon test done. It's obviously got some form of FM synthesis. Let's have Yamaha OPL3 3, is that SAX sound system? I can't even see that. But the hiss on these speakers is epic. Anyway, that concludes this video Sans Frontières video. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have, please feel free to subscribe. If you like what we do on this channel, please feel free also to like us on Facebook. But with that said, thank you for watching this video, and please stay tuned for my next one. Thank you very much, and see you again.